Tēnā koutou katoa. My name's Verna McFelin. I'm the Chief Executive of Pillars. We support the whānau and children of prisoners around advocacy and just general services. I've been visiting prisons for over 30 years, but not as a prison visitor in the early years, but as a wife and mother. My husband and I recently celebrated our 43rd wedding anniversary, and it's not because of any government agency or any NGO. It was because of the araha of the mongrel mob being in B Block Purumuremu prison, where my husband lived for 2 years, and where me and my 4 children visited every week, that I stand here today. I've heard a lot of the speakers talking today about all the difficulties that the prisoners have had with reintegration, with drug and alcohol issues, and all of those sorts of matters that happen when somebody gets released from prison, and even why they go to prison. But I suppose my question is, where is the whānau in all of this? You know, these people, these men, are sons, brothers, and whānau. And we would say, yes, the whānau has broken down. We really do need to look at what reintegration means. For me, reintegration starts at the beginning of a sentence, not the end. It's when the whānau need to be part of that sentence. They need to be there to support them. We need to support the whānau through the sentence, because at the end of the day, they're going to be the 24-hour rehabilitation centre. But today I'm talking about a research that we recently was involved in with Pillars, and in partnership with a research company called Network Research, Liz Gordon. We were very fortunate to get a grant from the Lottery Sector Research Fund for a 2-year research. It was quite a large piece of research, groundbreaking research that's never been done before in New Zealand. For the first year we did Invisible Children, which is here, and I have some copies. I bought some copies if anybody wants one. I probably haven't got enough for everybody. And then in the second year, we continued on and did Causes of and Solutions to Intergenerational Crime, 2011. I recently met with Steve Hall, who's the Director of Prisons Serco in Auckland, and he said this is the best piece of research he's read on the subject. And also what came out of that was a practice manual called Working with the Families and Children of Prisoners in Aotearoa, New Zealand, a guide to effective practice to ensure good outcomes for the children, 2011. I've got some copies of that too. But today I'm here to talk about the findings from the Māori data, June 2011. This data was taken from our own research and put together, and it was commissioned by Te Puna Kukuri. Okay, so there's been 2 major qualitative studies of the health of the children of prisoners in New Zealand over the past 3 years, and it's our study and the National Health Committee study. And interestingly enough, the findings of both studies were remarkably similar. The New Zealand research does echo and build on the similar international studies. Our piece of research was the first that's ever been done in New Zealand. We were trying to run services for children of prisoners based on international data, and I'm one of these analytical people that need to know the facts. So we thought we'd do our own research just so that we could actually provide services that were fitted for the New Zealand population. So this is very apt, I think, to head up the Māori data. Māku e kapu I te toioria o a taua tamariki. By my hand will our children be kept unharmed. So in 2007, Judge Eddie Jury called for new research focused on the effects of high rates of male imprisonment on Māori whānau and communities. I don't think anything's happened about that. So the whānau. So the significant evidence of family disruption over time. This is what we found from the research, that many tamariki have moved often either to live with different people or to new homes. Often bigger families are split up so that children do not see their siblings. Those who move house change schools, find new friends and live in new circumstances. Nearly all were living in rental accommodation, which tended to increase transience. Parents, grandparents, aunties were the carers of Māori children, and they were all women.
So we had some resource issues that came out of the research, and these were them. There was a lack of male support, lack of resources to help whānau in difficult circumstances. Some grandparents already bringing up mokopuna and other children were actually pleased to take them on, but some felt burdened, especially if the children had severe emotional problems. One was looking after a great-grandchild. A strong desire to avoid SIF involvement has meant that many are whānau are not getting the support they are actually entitled to. One auntie called by whānau to look after children was not happy at her age because she was asked to take on, as she put it, 2 naughty children. None thought they were better off with their loved one in prison. Some imprisoned males had been good and active fathers and providers and were sorely missed. So the health of the children. So the children faced a range of health problems that were often undiagnosed and unresolved. The chief problems relate to the emotional health of the children. In case after case, we were told of anger, upset, nightmares, bedwetting, and a range of other symptoms of unresolved stress. And we did ask the question if this was happening prior to the imprisonment, and in most cases the answer was no. So this was brought on by the imprisonment. This is likened to a form of post-traumatic stress disorder. Very few of the children in the study got counselling support or treatment. Physical health problems such as eczema, asthma and psoriasis are also very common, plus all those other health problems that we've heard previously from previous speakers. There is some evidence of emerging behavioural problems and mental health problems which are of concern to whānau. Many of the children are angry, lying and into petty crime. Some are quite violent to others. Very little support is available, even when it is sought. So we did note that, of course, the illnesses were age-related, like problems were age-related. Younger children under 8 tend to suffer from nightmares, upset, difficulty sleeping or oversleeping, enurosis and skin diseases. Older children may have all these symptoms, but their educational and social performance is clearly affected. They're increasingly angry and may take illicit drugs or engage in risky behaviour from a younger age. The health effects of parental imprisonment on children tend to worsen over time. These effects can best be seen as a form of post-traumatic stress disorder. The range of physical and emotional health problems puts enormous stress on families that tend to be under-resourced. For example, in the Pillars study, one grandmother said of a boy's enurosis, I hope that's how it said, "He does it to annoy me." Another said, "No matter what I do, I can't get rid of the children's psoriasis." Good information and practical support can help enormously. The poor health status and the growing anger and alienation of these children affects their ability to do well in school. It is a bit of a vicious circle: poor health, poor performance, low self-esteem, poor health, and so on. By the age of 13 or 14, these children can find themselves several years behind in learning, with either multiple suspensions or even exclusions from school. They come to reproduce the characteristics of their incarcerated parent: low education, poor physical and emotional health, and even the emergence of mental illness. It is disconcerting that a number of caregivers tend to view even quite extreme problems as normal, and thus not seek treatment. Even where treatment is sought, health professionals often do not prescribe active intervention or counselling. As a result, the evidence is that the children of prisoners generally are not having their health needs met. A holistic approach based on the principles of whanaora is seen by some as the best way to resolve this problem. In summary, research has shown that around half of all prisoners in New Zealand prisons have diagnosable mental health problems, including addictions. It is therefore of concern that so many physical, emotional and emerging mental health problems were identified in the children, especially as most remained untreated. Health issues make it hard for students to learn, therefore affecting their educational outcomes. Such effects are made worse by the fact that most whānau live in poverty, which is itself a huge risk factor. We found a bunch of emotionally upset, ill, undereducated, stigmatised children who are about to become adults, with virtually no services in place to defuse the time bomb that many of them represent. And our study showed that they are 7 times more likely to go to prison than any other child.
So an active approach can make a big difference. Dealing with the health effects is important as they emerge, for example by referral to continence services, counsellors and social workers, active treatment of skin problems and dealing with emotional and sleep deprivation problems. Good advice to caregivers is important. The small number of children in our study who are receiving excellent health care and individual counselling were actually doing really well. So GPs are in an excellent position to make a difference by using active, holistic approaches to treat the emergent health problems of these children. Keeping these children healthy and learning are the main factors that will stop the next generation going to prison. Pillars is committed to supporting GPs to help stop the cycle of intergenerational offending. So one of our projects that we're working on at the moment to support the children is that we're putting together health kits. So they look a bit like this. So done a bit of a presentation for a very community-based type, grassroots type little package. We've got a letter to the practice manager on the front, and it's headed up Improving Primary Healthcare Services for the Children of Prisoners. It's got my card. And inside here we've got contents of this pack, which is what you see up there on the screen. So in the pack we've got this, which is a Just Us poster. Now Just Us is the children's website. It's www.justus.org.nz. If you want to go and have some fun, go visit it. It's the only virtual town in the world that's got a prison in it. So the children actually go and visit each of those areas and ask questions of a little man called Justin, that's him down here. He arrives by flying saucer and he's their friend that he can ask them questions and he will answer them for them. And it's also got information there for professionals seeking information and also parent caregivers as well. So I suggest you do go have a look there. So also what we've put together is a checklist for health providers. Now we're not telling doctors how to do their job because we're not professionals ourselves in the health area, but from the research we've picked up the various points that they need to consider when they actually have a family come into their surgeries. Things like reassure caregivers that emotional problems are common in the children of prisoners and that the aim will be to assertively deal with these as they arise. That most children of prisoners are in benefit-led households. The cost of health care is a big issue for them, which may mean that children's health is neglected, with quite severe problems being treated as normal. Explore options with the family. Number 3, check physical health, including allergies and skin diseases. Check 4, check for nightmares, night terrors and lack of sleep, especially in under 8s. How can these be minimised? Check 5, enuresis is rife among these children. If present, ensure that caregivers know that it is an involuntary response. Check for adequate management or refer to appropriate person to ensure it is a low-stress issue in the household. A quality undersheet is best, but these are expensive. They can be $75. The use of incontinence products is another option. 6, behavioural problems are common. The children may be bullies or bullied or both and may have few friends. They may have been involved in incidents in school or community and may be subject to school sanctions. Fueled by anger and stalled emotional development, the children's education will start to suffer and they may engage with problematic peer groups. 7, from the age of 10 or 11, these children may be experimenting with drugs, sex and dangerous lifestyles. They may be increasingly detached from schooling and may leave school at a very early age. It is important to try and build good foundations before this occurs. But if it does, counselling is the best option. Mentoring does not usually work with teenagers unless it was commenced much earlier. 8, whatever the solution, these problems do not go away and may get worse, so an active response is required. Point 1, counselling is a good option in children aged 8 or over with a specialist youth counsellor to deal with the anger and upset. 2, mentoring is also good for children aged 5+. Work with other agencies to ensure that the child has a safe adult they can talk to and confide in. Point 3, the www.justus.org.nz website answers questions for and reassures the children of prisoners. Display the poster and make sure children receive a card. So we've got these little cards that we give out to children as well. Ideally, health providers should work with schools and other agencies to support these children and keep them healthy and learning. So that's the basic little checklist. So along with that, we've got a bit of an overview of the research, which is the health of children of prisoners, with the pack, and also a Pillars referral form, and along with working with the families and children of prisoners. So that is going out to all the GPs in South Auckland and Christchurch. That will be going about August of this year. We're a very small agency, and right now we're doing schools kits. So we're getting inundated with schools and principals ringing in about the needs of children. Our research showed that the first point of call for a child when they have a parent go to prison is they talk to their teacher, so we thought we'd go there first. We get inundated with calls. We're such a small agency and we can only do so much, so we have to work really savvy around things. So school kits are first, and then doctor's kits will be next. So that's our plan for moving on. So good practice. Assistance should be sought for children soon after the arrest of their parent. GP services should work actively with these families and whānau. Counselling services should be made available. Best practice mentoring programs should be made available. A whānau or a type of service that works at a holistic level would be the best response to the needs of children with a parent in prison. The research has shown patterns of untreated health problems in this population. Knowing the likely course of the problems may assist the GP in working effectively with the children, giving them a better chance of negotiating childhood well. Good health care in childhood can help to keep the next generation out of prison. So taken together with the new data and analysis supplied with this study, one is left with one overarching question, which is in need of an answer. How can we transform our system of justice so that we deal appropriately and effectively with those responsible for committing crimes, but at the same time remove or ameliorate the negative effects experienced by the innocent children? And if you can visit those both websites, the Pukeko research, it's Liz Gordon's website, or Pillars website for any further information. Thank you.